Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out of It.
Welcome back, everyone. It's your two favorite small podcasters.
It's your two favorite bros.
We're back for another
Sunday night.
Another Sunday. They mostly come out at night.
Another Sunday night serenade.
Exactly. And we got another good one for you. Another really good one that we're just going to gush about. We're just going to talk at length about this movie.
One of you, I could not find the comment. I'm guessing this must have been a DM one of you sent. But this was brought up as a recommendation for 87. One of you said you wanted, when we got to 87, you really wanted to see this. And here it is. But before we get into it, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, comments.
All that good stuff.
Give us your recommendations, wherever you find your podcast, consuming your content.
Yes. Just
everywhere.
Do all the things.
I don't really have any housekeeping.
I don't either, to be honest.
But, any recommendations we get?
Yeah, we do one every 5 episodes. So get them in, do what you can. We really appreciate you even just listening to the podcast.
Or like with the case of this movie, if you have, because 87 is almost done, if you have some sort of thing you really want us to see in 88, give us a recommendation for that, or if it's something you think we missed, like something you really you have to know our opinion on.
I would say we'll get to the ones faster that are like 80, 88 and like below. So like 80, 88, 87, 86, anything like that.
Yeah.
We'll get to those faster because if you recommend one from like, say like the 2000s, we'll just get to it when we get to that year.
But
we'll
keep it. If it's in the past year, it's every 5 episodes.
Yes.
So.
But we are adding everything. So just so you know. Let's talk about Prom Night 2.
Now,
Hello, Mary Lou.
I think I speak for, I would imagine, the vast majority of people when I would say that the first Prom Night is mid.
At best. I mean, it's not the worst movie ever.
But it is very much like cheap kind of Canadian slasher, like cashing in on the success of slasher movies. And they got Jamie Lee Curtis, so there's that. But it was always just kind of to me.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, I don't consider it like a classic. Like,
no.
Right? You don't consider like Prom Night an all-timer.
No.
You don't look back at it like fondly and be like, oh, maybe some people do, and that's fine. Yeah. But I just don't ever like go back and rewatch it a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where I watched it once and that was kind of it. Now
Prom Night 2, I don't know what it is about. We've been on a streak lately with sequels that go way harder than their predecessor.
Because this is higher. Like, we're not just talking out of our ass. This is higher rated everywhere you look than the first one. So this is one of those sequels that, not even controversially, is widely considered to be better.
Well, we're kind of on a streak because this is our second episode in a row that has dealt with the first one being just a straightforward slasher movie and everything's fine and, it's a serviceable movie.
Yeah.
It does its job as a slasher movie. And then the sequel, they just snort a mountain of cocaine. And they're like,
go crazy.
Let's do a supernatural slasher thriller, just do that. It's like Summer Party Massacre 2, where they just went supernatural. And they have not even remotely the same thing going on. So does Prom Night 2. Nothing about Prom Night 2, except for the high school, is the same.
And it's set at a prom.
That's it.
But this is a really good movie.
This movie goes so hard.
And here's the thing. Even if this wasn't recommended, I still would have watched this for the year.
I think it deserves, like I said before, with some of these movies, this one deserves to be reviewed on the podcast. I really wanted to have it on our podcast.
Yeah, this would have been watched regardless, but...
Because it's so good.
I the suggestion is always appreciated because this is such a good movie.
This is also going to be our second episode in a row where it's a 10 out of 10. Let's just get it out of the way. We don't need to do like rating system. It's entertainment value is off the charts on this one. We're just going to talk about it.
Because I've seen it described and pretty accurately as kind of like a crazy mix of Carrie and Nightmare on Elm Street. And
well, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because with the Carrie vibes, you got like a scorned person, prom night, and then you also got like an overbearing mother.
There's a heavy theme of like religious suppression.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street. There's lots of
like premonitions and like dream sequences going on. Then we get like just crazy shit.
But also, it's a movie about kind of kids being forced to answer for the mistakes of their parents and like the crazy things their parents did.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So like I love like the basic setup too, where it's like, you know, it's just like a mistake essentially is why Mary Lou is like doing all this, because the guy didn't mean to kill her. He just wanted to set off a stink bomb in front of her. Again, before we get too into it, if you haven't seen this movie and are on the fence about it, I guarantee you will like it if you like supernatural.
Just look it up on
slashers.
YouTube. I don't know why this movie has not been officially released in HD.
Someone has like personally remastered it on YouTube.
But you can just watch it on YouTube, totally free.
It also is on Plex, but if you don't want to deal with all those ads, you can watch it if you have a premium subscription on YouTube. Just go watch it on there.
I'm assuming it's probably also on Tubi and like those kind of places. But if you want to avoid ads, all that, it is on YouTube.
But please don't sleep on this movie.
Yeah.
Do not. Like if you're thinking like, oh, Prom Night was like kind of boring and I didn't like it that much. Trust me when I say it is nothing like Prom Night.
This is much better.
This is nothing like Prom Night. But yeah, I like all the premonitions where, you know, one of my favorite ones is where she gets sucked into the chalkboard. That one always, I don't know how they, like, I know they like superimposed it on the thing, but it looks so fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm. All the words swirling around.
And I was going to correlate it with like Nightmare on Elm Street when like Johnny Depp's character gets pulled and sucked into the bed and the blood sprays everywhere. And like, I don't know, it just, they have like references to The Exorcist. They have references to like a bunch of different horror movies in this, like all the
kids, some of the teachers and stuff. Yeah,
the teachers' names are like slasher names. Like,
like directors and writers.
Yeah, like King,
Craven,
like all these different things.
Oh, there's also Mr. Romero.
Yeah, there's like so many homages, and it's just like it's a movie made for like slasher horror fans. I like it a lot. Like I don't know, and like I'll just get this out of the way too. Like the cinematography is beautiful. They filmed in Canada.
This is both movies. They are Canadian.
Yeah, and like they're purely Canadian. They're set in America, but you can tell they're not America.
I mean, I can tell kind of, but they do a pretty good job.
Well, just like there's a bribe, like a bribe thing, but they're using Canadian money instead of American money.
It's like pink
tinted,
and but overall, like, I mean, you know, it's believable enough. But
cinematography is good, acting is good, special effects are awesome. You know, story is insane.
I like that it's almost I mean, I'm a sucker for kind of coming of age movies, and this kind of also has that because obviously it's set in high school.
Right.
So you have like all the coming of age shenanigans that you'd expect, but with this horror
also like elements of like rebelling against your parents, going against like the status quo, like not being like an average teenager, all this, just a bunch of stuff. Like stuff that you were probably going through, not to this extreme, obviously, but like going through as a teenager at this time too. So, I don't know, like I love the basic setup when they were like transported back to like 1956. Right off the bat, you're just like, okay, this is nothing like the old, like this is nothing like the first movie.
Because
nothing. It's like a flashback.
Well, the very first scene in the movie is a confession booth.
Right.
And it's like this woman who is, Mary Lou, but she's like saying all this stuff like, Father, I've sinned. I've done unholy things with boys. I've
thought unholy thoughts. I've
rebelled against my parents, and she just lists all this stuff, and she pulls out a thing of lipstick,
and she's
and
like,
you can hear her like writing something.
Well, she's like, you know what? I enjoyed every bit of it.
I enjoyed every minute of it, and then it like.
And she smiles, and it just pans her away, and it says,
"For a good time, call Mary Lou,"
and it has her number.
And then it. Prom night, 1957.
So we get an idea, like, Mary Lou's kind of...
crazy.
A loose gal. Let's just say it, like, let's put it kind of out there.
Mary Lou is awesome. Mary Lou is awesome.
She is pretty awesome.
She gives no fucks.
She gives absolutely no fucks.
And I think that's hilarious.
I'm kind of here for it.
I love it.
She's kind of, like, girl bossing everything.
Well, it's like, she talks, like, super, like... I don't know, like 50s wise ass shit.
I think it is kind of interesting how she like kind of acts like what you would expect like a typical guy in like these movies would act like, or like kind of like womanizing and like,
but she's doing,
sleeps around with other people, does all this like talks like a degenerate. And this is Mary Lou. And I was like, you know what? I'm here for it. Like I hope she wins everything.
But it's her, it's her with her date. And he's kind of
like this more meek guy. Yeah. He's not like, you can tell he's like popular, but like not like the ultra popular ones. And
she sneaks away at one point to go mess around with this other guy.
He goes to get punch. And sorry about my voice. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'm getting through it, but we're good.
It's okay. Well, we've done worse.
I'm getting over.
We've gone through worse.
Yeah, we have. Just in case you were wondering, though. So yeah, she goes off to sleep around
basically
with this other guy. Yeah, as he's like drinking alcohol, and like the guy's like, it's like, I didn't know, like, did you come here with Mary Lou? And he's like, yes. And he's like, she just went behind the stage with.
No, because he says like, when did you and Mary Lou break up?
Oh yeah,
like, never.
Like, we didn't break up.
It's like, really? And just tells me, she went back with what's his name.
And so he goes back there and sees them like fooling around. Yeah. And he's like, how could you do this to me? And she's just like...
I'm not doing anything.
She's basically like saying like, it's not the way it looks. Again, like just a stereotype. It's not the way it looks.
Yeah.
Like, blah,
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, she's like, whatever. Like, get over it.
Yeah. And so he's pissed.
Well, he's pissed, and he hears these like other students in the bathroom saying how they made a stink bomb too powerful.
Yeah, one of the guys is like, I think... Are you sure? I think I put too much.
Well, they like kind of fucked it up, so they didn't think it would explode.
Like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit! Like the teacher's coming in.
Throw it away.
And they throw it away, and so the guy sees them throw it away, and I can't remember what the teacher says to him.
Well, he's like, asked the teacher's like, how's it going? And he's like, not well. You? And he's like, this music's too loud. Rock and roll's never gonna last.
Yep.
Something like that.
And so our guy takes a stink bomb. And Mary Lou's getting her... She's getting prom queen.
Prom queen. And he crawls up to these, like, rafters.
And, again, she knows what she wants because they're trying to put on the cape. And she's like, just forget about the cape. Just give me my crown.
Give me my crown. That's all I care about.
And so she's about to be crowned, right? So crown is about to go on. This guy lights the stink bomb. And he's going to throw it right next to her. So it, like, stinks up her, whatever.
But it was too powerful.
Throws it down. It's too powerful, and it doesn't explode. It just, like, lights her dress on fire.
And she's immediately engulfed in flames.
And she's, like, running around. Everyone's in shock. No one's, like, helping her, except for, like, the guy she was sleeping around with. He, like, runs up to kind of cover her, but then stops for some reason.
Yeah, because she's basically completely engulfed, and you see, like, her face, like, getting burned and stuff. And
well, and let's face it. I mean, like, you might be thinking, like, oh, no one's going to help her. It's like, that's a pretty shocking scene. Like, a lot of people, I think you'd want to help, but you would probably have no fucking idea how to help in that situation.
Plus, it's pretty, all things considered, it's pretty quick.
So she dies in flames, and she looks back up at him right before she dies, and then you see like the camera like speed zoom into a fucking like a costume case,
and it closes.
And now we're in present day,
Yeah.
1987, and we
Same
meet
high school.
we meet our protagonist, our final girl, if you will. What's her name?
Sure.
Vicky. That's it.
But she's got, the religious mom who, doesn't like her dating the bad boy.
Well, because we get like multiple scenes of them like eating dinner or breakfast, and we won't go over all these scenes, but like this is like the idea, because she's like a helicopter mom. She's very controlling. She's very like authoritarian, and the dad is like this meek, just weak
yes man
that listens to everything the wife says, but also tries.
But you can tell he's not quite.
He kind of tries to fight for her, but like gets shut down every single time and doesn't like put his foot down.
Yeah.
And doesn't like control the household at all.
But she's dating this guy, and the mom doesn't approve of it, even though he's.
He's like he's a nice guy. He like supports her and everything. He doesn't cheat on her in any of point of the movie.
He rides a bike.
Yeah, well, and she even makes the comments like, what is he going to put a sidecar on?
Is he finally going to get a sidecar? Or, oh yeah, because they're going to prom, and he's like, is he getting a sidecar, or are you taking the bus?
And I love how you get the friend that like is like, oh, no one will go out with me, and she gets like asked out constantly and shuts people down everywhere. And
because they're in class, she's like, no one ever asked me out. And
when we get like the like eccentric nerdy guy too,
who makes a radio potato,
like dresses like kind of weird and has like doodads and gadgets all over his clothes, and like just his style's all over the place. And then we also you don't know it, but she's like the first victim, but also one of her friends is like this taller girl with like this big blown out fucking, it's like the most 80s movie I've ever seen. Like the 80s style is off the charts.
But she's she's the first victim, and there's kind of a scene where she's like leaving school early to go to a doctor's appointment, and you don't really
you don't know why. Like she's kind of like nervous about it, but you have no idea why. But something's going on.
Sums up.
So Vicky goes. So she's like pissed off because her mom won't let her go dress shopping, and she doesn't want to wear the dress that she wore.
It's like some sort of a old, out of style green dress.
Yeah, and so she's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go look in the prop room and see if there's any props that I could wear that will maybe look like a good prom dress
or make something out of them."
Yeah, and so she goes down into the prop room, and it's like this dark, dimly lit prop room that apparently no one has walked into in years, because there's just cobwebs, and there's like that suitcase just sitting there. And so she like finds a dress and starts looking over it, and then like pries open the thing and finds the prom cape and the prom crown.
Mm-hmm.
And now the thing like fucking closes on her. And she's like, well, that's fucking weird, but okay.
And it's released.
And of course, the next day, they're looking at it and they're like, hey, I found this. We can put it in like the memorandum for the school. And she finds that woman, the one girl that went to the doctor's appointment, she finds her crying. And you figure out that she was pregnant.
Yeah, she basically, initially she's telling her that, there's this guy she liked.
I say was pregnant because she's the first victim, so.
Yeah. But yeah, she's crying. She's like, this guy basically broke up with her, and, Vicky's like, well, he's an asshole.
He's a jerk. Don't talk to him.
She's like, he left me something.
I'm pregnant.
That's what she was going to the doctor's appointments for.
And so Vicky tries to, like, cheer her up and then, like, leaves, and I don't know why the girl was stealing the gem out of the crown.
She was, it's like school's over, and there is you kind of have like an overlay of them being like, hey, we're leaving, like, make sure you close up. But she's kind of looking through all this stuff, and she's like trying on the cape and all this stuff, and she's like, I'm guessing she was going to do something with it, but she takes out one of the...
Like a ruby.
Yeah, like a ruby out of the crown, and... things go crazy.
Yep, so the cape, like, shit just starts flying everywhere. and the cape starts dragging her around
and choking her.
Well, and I do love the fake out here because they have this that paper cutter that's like the handle with the blade,
the giant blade,
and you think it's gonna like guillotine her because she like gets pulled underneath it, and you think it's gonna chop her, but then it like the cape hangs her,
and then after she's dead, she gets tossed out of the window.
Yeah, so it looks like a suicide, and the cape and the crown go like perfectly back together. The ruby flies back into the crown, and we're all good. Now, you don't get a death for a very long time after this. It's a lot of, like, build-up, because, like, this is where you get, like, the premonitions where, like, you get the premonition where she's in the gym with a bunch of zombie students calling her Mary Lou.
There's the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, the fucking lunch lady's, like, serving
That's
her,
one of my favorites, because, like, it pans over this, like, disgusting grill with, like, cockroaches all over it.
Yeah, and, like, some sort of rotten soup.
And then you see, like, hair floating in it, and then you see, like, Mary Lou's face, like, bubble up out of it. It's so good. And then, of course, there is, like, it's later, but the chalkboard one where she gets sucked into the chalkboard.
That's when she's in detention. There's also the one where she's in her bedroom.
The chalkboard one's the last one, because that's when, like, the possession takes hold. So that's the one.
Then there's the one in her bedroom where she has like this rocking horse.
I love the fucking like puppeteering and like the weird. They did not have to go this hard with like the animatronic like fucking weird unicorn
with the tongue,
like horny tongue rocking horse.
Well, plus this is kind of the first scene where the possession's implied because
there's even a scene where she's like fingering its mouth.
Yeah, well that's later with the fucking dad.
Yeah,
no, there's in this scene because she goes to her room and she's putting on makeup, and you see her just putting on makeup, and she puts on lipstick, and then she looks in the mirror and does like this.
Well, you see Mary Lou with blonde hair, like wink at her, and then she has her hair in the same style and like, all the makeup on. She
wipes it herself off and kind of like. Has a moment of realization, like wipes it off, but then like the freaking unicorn, like it has like these like red eyeballs, and you see its pupils like turning to look at her.
When it like opens its mouth, its tongue juts out,
and then she's like stop it, and like you have her bed covers like go like over her, and completely gets sucked down on her body, and you see like hands start to like go up and down. It's
crazy. The special effects in this movie are so good. They're so well done.
I also love, so her boyfriend is the son of the guy who killed her.
The principal. Basically. He's the principal of the school now.
He's now the principal.
And the priest is the other guy that she was sleeping around with.
Which I love.
It's great how they connect that.
Well, I love that the guy who was, he was helping her cheat and all this stuff is now like a holy man.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, they know each other, but that's who they are. There's multiple scenes of Vicky and her boyfriend going to this like diner.
Yes.
And they're always drinking coffee. And the first scene, it's like she just puts creamer in there,
and he puts like a bunch of sugar, and she's like, "That stuff will kill you, you know."
But later on, like halfway through the movie, when shenanigans are going down, she's like there, and you just see her. Like load her coffee up with sugar.
Yes.
But no one says anything. It's one of those, you didn't notice it, but your brain did kind of things. She doesn't say anything. But they have a nice payoff at the end.
Can we talk... Okay, speaking of the priest guy, can we talk about his death scene?
Yes.
Because, he's... throughout the movie, just to kind of give a brief overview, he's trying to warn, the principal dad... No one's really believing him, but he is convinced that she's possessed by Mary Lou. And just trying to tell, the dad and the relevant people, but no one believes him.
Because one of the things that happens is Vicky's mom makes her go to confession.
Yes.
She's like, you don't need a doctor, you don't need a therapist. What you need is some religion.
Yes.
So she sends her to him, she gives a confession, and she mentions Mary Lou.
Yes.
And he's like, oh shit.
It's like, okay, she's back. This is crazy. I gotta warn people.
Like there's a scene where he does like a fucking a whole seance and reads from like a spell book or something.
And does like the whole like the body of Christ compels you.
And he goes to like pray over her grave, and has a Bible in his hand, and he just
like, explodes into flames.
In flames. And he tries telling the other guy, who's just
that wants nothing to do with it. He's like, you need to cross, like you just protect yourself.
He's just like, listen, you've been celibate too long. You are losing your mind.
So Vicky goes back for a confession, and he's like, she's forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
She's fully dolled up in makeup.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, and she's staring right at him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've done acts with my boyfriend.
Basically, it's a repeat from the beginning of the movie.
And then she's like, please help me, Father. And he's like, you can do all this and everything. And she's like, well, why won't you just fuck me?
Yeah.
And like punches through the fucking thing, like starts knocking down the goddamn wall of the confession booth.
She just, because the guy's
like cowering in the corner.
Well, because he tries to escape, and you see like the key from the door that he's in, like just flies out. So he's just trapped in there. As she's just punching through the wall.
He's like cowering in the corner with a cross, and he's like desperately trying to fight her back, and then she takes the cross and just like stabs it into his fucking mouth.
She also says some stuff like I have a confession for you, like heaven's not real, and you know what else? I didn't get any fucking wings or something.
I think she does say that, yeah. I didn't get any fucking wings. And she said the worst part about it is I didn't get any wings. Fucking wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't see exactly how she kills him. But you see the camera go fucking bananas. And then later on, because the freaking other guy, her jilted lover, he goes to dig up her grave, and he's just like, she's dead, she can't.
He opens the grave, and it's the fucking priest
with this cross shoved in his mouth.
He's like, no. Because at this point, the poor boyfriend has been knocked out twice now, because before Vicky, there's that scene where Vicky, as Mary Lou, because she's fully possessed right now, because she's acting all crazy. She like slapped a girl. She's fucking dressing in like 50s clothing,
talking like "See you later, alligator."
Yeah, see you later, alligator. She's talking like a fucking Elvis movie they even mentioned.
Yeah, one of them even says that.
And so they're like getting ready for prom, and he's like, "Ah, man, I'm not ready to go back to reality." And she's like, "Okay, then how about we do a fantasy or something."
And she's trying to fuck him.
And she tried to fuck him, and he like, I guess, can't get it up, and she like punches his balls.
Yeah, she's like,
"What's the matter? You don't know how to use your tool," or something like that, and like knocks him to the ground. And then it does this weird shot where they're like, she like grabs him by the neck, and it like zooms up, and she's like pinning him to the wall again.
And she knocks him out.
And then he also gets knocked out by the dad,
who's like, "I'm gonna take care of everything."
The kid's like, I need to go protect Vicky. I need to like protect her. She needs to be safe.
Like, "No, son, this is my fight. I did this."
And he's like, "No, I need to go protect her." He's like, "Okay, well, be safe." And then knocks him out with a fucking shoe.
Well, because he's like, "Where's my shoes?" And he's like, "Here." And he picks up his shoe, and then he knocks him out. Out. I also love because you basically do that thing where it's one actress playing like two characters, and they do a pretty good job because
there's that scene in the fucking locker room, right, where
oh my god,
it's fucking crazy.
Well, it's her friend who, earlier,
because I think is the priest or her friend the one that dies first after the full possession.
I think it's her friend.
Because she gets sucked into the chalkboard.
I think the friend dies after the priest. I'm pretty sure.
Because she gets sucked into the chalkboard, and then you see her right next to like the suitcase in the prop room.
Yeah.
And she's like,
it's like her crawling out of it.
Yeah, and she's like looking at her body, and that's like full possession.
Yeah.
Like Mary Lou has taken control of Vicky.
And it's like immediately different mannerisms. Everything's completely different.
Yep. And so at a certain point, she goes into the locker room with her friend. And her friend's like, "Okay, you need to cut this shit out." Like,
well, she has a radio.
Yeah,
and it's playing.
It's like a Mary Lou.
It's literally called "Hello, Mary Lou" by I think it's Ricky Nelson.
Yeah.
And she's listening to it, and her friend keeps like trying to talk to her and keeps like turning it down, and she keeps turning it back up. But she's like telling her like all this stuff, like how you're acting weird. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. You won't talk to anybody. And she's just denying it. And she says something like something old timey. And her friend like kicks the radio over. And she's like, no one says that anymore. Like, no one fucking
I
talks
think
like
she
this.
says like buzz off or something like that.
She's like, no one says buzz off. And she leaves, go take a shower.
Yep. And so Vicky, or Mary Lou, follows her into the shower. And she like goes up next to her and she's like, oh, Vicky, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm just like frustrated. And then Vicky like kisses her on the nose and she laughs.
She keeps going.
Like starts kissing and she's like, Vicky, get off me.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
And she runs away and is like trying to run out of the locker room showers, and the door's closed. It won't open.
And it's like a cat and mouse game. She's running all over the fucking locker room. Vicky is chasing behind her slowly.
Yes.
Just fully nude. Like,
yes.
And the friend is wrapped in a towel. And the friend tries to like get out of the cage and can't open the door. And finally like hides in her locker room, right? In her locker.
Yeah.
And Vicky like goes and stands right in front of her locker.
Well, first there's that scene of her like dragging her hand across the lockers, and it's making this like crazy like scraping noise, and it's her friend just like waiting, and you see like a shadow pass by, so you think, okay, maybe she's safe.
And then it's Vicky looking right at the locker, and I can't remember what she says, but the lockers just smash.
It's that locker that she's in right in center frame, and all the lockers around it just smash together.
And like pink ooze starts like flowing out of the locker.
You can tell that she basically like telekinetically crushed her in the locker.
Yep. It's fucking awesome. It looks so goddamn good. It looks so good. Should we talk about the prom scene now?
We should talk about the scene with the parents, Will.
Oh yeah, because that's leading up to the prom scene. You're right. Have we gotten to like all the deaths before the prom?
Yes.
Because the priest, the girl in the locker room, the
pregnant girl.
And then like obviously the first scene. Okay, so let's talk about this weird fucking incest scene.
So it's just her in a prom dress, and it's full Mary Lou, and she's riding her little horsey.
Well, fingering its mouth.
With finger in its mouth, full pervo. And, the dad comes in and is just like, I'm so excited for you. Like me and your mom's prom, like I had to, wear my dad's dress, my dad's suit and all this stuff. And she just goes up to him and just is like, hold me, daddy.
And starts making out with her own dad.
Full blown making out with him.
The weird thing is the dad doesn't like push her away or anything.
No.
Because that's how weak he is as a character, right? Because he doesn't even do that.
And the mom comes in and is like, what are you doing, you Jezebel? You
harlot?
You slut. And then she's walking away, and the mom just stands in front of the door, like the door of the house, and is like, you're not going anywhere.
Well, I love how she's looking at herself in the mirror. Like Mary Lou was looking at herself in the mirror, right? And she sees the mom blocking the doorway. Yeah. And she's like, you're not going anywhere. You're going to repent to God, and you're going to like repent for your sins, and we're going to take you to the church, basically. And Mary Lou just walks up to her.
And just looks at her, and the mom starts screaming, and the camera just like
zooms in on her real quick.
And then you see a shot of like the outside of the house.
And the mom just getting blasted out the fucking door window. It's fucking awesome.
And it's just, Mary Lou as Vicky just walking away.
That was like the Carrie moment where she kills the mom. Yeah. With all the knives and shit.
And then it's the prom.
So she finally gets to prom. Mary Lou's finally going back to prom.
And there's all these dynamics. Like one of the whole movie, there's this kind of bitchy popular girl, and she's like,
she's doing whatever she can because she tried to bribe like the main like vote taker to like get her to win. She's been like passing out flyers everywhere. All she wants to do is get prom queen.
But there's a scene where she tells the kind of nerdy guy, like, I will pay you $100. And then he's kind of like, well, I don't know.
Well, and she's like, everyone has their price, and he's like, well, yeah, you're right, but
they kind of leave it at that.
You're
You're
not willing to pay mine.
You don't really know what it's going to.
Yeah, you have no idea what he wants.
And then later on, it's prom night, and she has her she has her fucking dude bro boyfriend who's.
I like how she's like, you have a drinking problem. He's like, why do you say I have a drinking problem? I drink. I get drunk. Why is that a problem?
Literally.
He's such a.
And it's her like getting annoyed because Vicky shows up, and I guess she can tell like, okay, like she's probably gonna be the fucking prom queen.
Yeah, so she like desperately goes up to the nerdy guy
who's because his prom date was the girl she murdered in the locker.
Well, and he's all butthurt because I guess he didn't know she got murdered. No one knows because she's still just trapped in that poor fucking locker room, just smashed in between a bunch of lockers.
And so he
gets all dejected and all pissed off.
He has a beer, and popular girl walks in, and he's just like, "Who's winning?" And he's just like, "Well, it's not you." And she's pissed, and she's like, "All right, like I know your price." And she just goes down on her knees, and is just like going down him. He's like, "Listen, start typing." She's like,
"Start typing,"
and starts sucking his dick, and he starts typing changing her name to make her the winner.
And like Vicky is like waiting, and she goes up to like a little power cord.
Well, it's like after that, like she's like she goes back to the prom, and her prom date's kissing her.
He's like, "Oh, do you have any more of those mints? Your breath
smells different.
The breath smells great."
And he's typing out the name. He's like, "All right, Vin, the winner will be so and so."
And Vicky goes up to a little cord and pulls it,
and the screen just flashes wrong.
Dead wrong.
And then it starts electrocuting him, and his face, and it's like, freaking, it's like something out of like, I don't even know, like Big Trouble in Little China or Scanners.
Like it's like the digital like VFX like lightning.
Yeah, and it's just his face getting slowly more like burned, basically.
Yeah, right.
And it's awesome.
And then like his hands and everything, he's just getting electrocuted and melted in front of his fucking computer. And so she's like waiting, and you see the prom girl is like, the one that like just blew the guy, waiting, and they're all waiting, and
the guy's like, "All right, everyone, be quiet. We're announcing the prom queen.
Your prom queen is Vicky," and like, and like one of the guys is like, "Wow, like whatever your name is, you really blew it." I can't believe they did that fucking joke. All the while, so the dad has already knocked out his son with a shoe.
He has a gun.
And he's going to go up to the rafters just like the start of the movie.
And the son ends up waking up, and then he's rushing to the school.
Yeah, so we have like a bunch of moving parts going on, right? So like teleprompter guy is dead. The nerdy guy is dead. And Vicky's like gonna accept her crown, right? So she gets up there, she takes the flowers. Crown's about to go on her head, and the fucking dad shoots her, just a bunch.
Just shoots her in, and
again, like, it's kind of weird, but in the confines of the movie, it's not that weird because everyone's in shock. No one's like helping her, and the only person that rushes to her aid is the son.
And he's holding her, and she's like dying, and then she kind of like leans back and is like dead.
When she starts like seizing.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and you see something.
This is my favorite scene of the entire movie. I fucking love how awesome. They did not need to go this hard for a sequel.
Fantastic.
A sequel to Prom Night.
Something starts like punching through her chest.
And you see this like zombie hand like reach up and like choke him and like push him away.
And then a full like burned, charred body just crawls.
Well, I love how it like slowly reconstructs. So basically it's like a skeleton, these like skeletal remains come out, and like the sparks are going everywhere. Fucking
doing the carry
everything
thing.
is fucking like going haywire. The kids can't get out of the fucking auditorium. Like the popular girl that wanted to be prom queen gets
one of like the neon signs,
like stabs her with a neon sign, and like as like Mary Lou like slowly reconstructs.
It's her getting less like burned as she
She like laughs.
progressively causes more chaos.
Yes.
It's her getting less burned, and the dad ends up falling off the rafters
And like knocking the wind out of him, so he's like incapacitated
bleeding, but you
for a
don't really
second.
see what happens to him yet. And then the son, the boyfriend, like wakes up and runs away, and she follows him.
Yep.
Down to the prop room, and it's like her just slightly burned now, but she's mostly reconstructed.
So he's like locked the door, right, and he's hiding, and he hears Vicky's voice.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, she's like, help me, I don't know what's going on, and so he like unlocks it, obviously,
and they hug. She's like, I don't know what happened.
And you see like they're hugging again, and you see her white glove
With the ring.
with the because in the beginning the guy gave her a ring that has like ML on it.
Yeah.
So for Mary Lou.
And she has it, and now she's basically forcing him into the big fucking cursed Mary Lou prom chest.
The big chest, and he's like getting sucked in,
Yeah.
and the dad comes in, and
With the crown.
and he like, you think he's gonna like crush it or something, but he like puts it on her head, and then they start dancing, and then it gets a flashback to like them
being happy at
them
the
being
prom.
happy, dancing around at the prom. Everyone's like clapping at them, and
then it's present day, and they kiss, and you see the chest, like everything goes crazy, and the big chest closes.
yes,
And then you hear Vicky, and the guy, like her boyfriend, opens it,
and then like Vicky crawls out of the chest,
and it's like
covered in like slime.
it's like Poltergeist style, where she crawls out of like the spirit world covered in goo, and
You think everything's fine?
Yeah.
Like, the cops are here and they're like, some crazy shit went on.
I don't know what happened. Some crazy
Like,
shit.
most of the students survive, so it's not like Carrie where she burns down the entire
She didn't
school.
annihilate all of them.
Yeah, she didn't burn down the whole school, so. And so they're all fine, and then the dad walks up and he's like, hey, are you okay? Like, let's get
happy ending.
Let's get you two both safely home, right? And so they're all getting in the car. And the dad turns around and, like, his eyes go blue. And he has the white glove with the Mary Lou fucking ring on. And I can't remember what she says to them.
I don't even know.
Something like, are you ready for a ride or something like that? And
he
like
turns on the radio and it starts playing the fucking Mary Lou song.
Yeah, and all the windows roll up and all the doors lock.
It has a fucking license plate that says Mary Lou.
Mary Lou 2.
Yeah.
And then they drive off into the abyss.
As the fucking song plays, end film.
I do love that. We forgot to mention there is like that really cool premonition that the principal has.
Oh, also,
where like the car's driving away and his son's in the back with
it's a hearse.
A back of a hearse with Mary Lou and his son like screaming for help.
Yeah. Also, I forgot, after she comes out of the fucking chest all poltergeist style, he says, he just asks her, do you take sugar with your coffee? She's like, no, that stuff will kill you.
Yep, that's how you know it's Vicky.
You didn't notice it, but your brain did.
Dude, there's so much to like about this movie. I just I love the bamboozle that went nowhere because they didn't make a third one.
I think they did, but it was another like
just generic slasher.
Yeah, I think there's several of these movies, but I mean none of them really have much to do with each other. I know there's also multiple references to because when it's the 1957 scene and she's like about to have sex with a guy, and he's like asking her, why do you go out with the two of us? And she says, because it's a big free country. And she says that later on too. But this,
I also do love the scene where he's like almost into the prop closet and he sees the Egyptian sarcophagus.
Oh, yeah.
And he sees his friend in there and his head turns all the way around.
Like another line he referenced earlier.
Yep, because he's like, oh, no, she's fully possessed. She's fully like,
She's going to start turning her head around
in
circles like Linda Blair.
Yep, she's like Linda Blair all the way.
I pulled it up. The final line in the movie.
Okay, what? Yeah, what he says.
Hey kids, they're playing our song. Let's cruise.
Yeah. Okay.
And he has like fucking blue eyes like Mary Lou now.
Yep.
This is a really good movie.
Did like
because
it did not need to go this hard because you're making a sequel to like a mid slasher movie already.
Yeah.
That honestly did not make a lot of money.
Yeah, it was
even at the time
more of a novelty.
Yeah, like a lot of people didn't go see the first Prom Night. Maybe if you liked,
it was just kind of like part of that, post Halloween slasher.
Or just like a
boom.
lot of people were making slasher
Yeah.
movies. So it's like kind of a throwaway, but like with Slumber with Slumber Party Massacre 2, this one just like took it and like went off the rails with it. They were like, okay, cool. So we have a basic concept, like a slasher movie at a prom. What do we do with that? Let's do supernatural. Let's do like a crazy like Carrie meets fucking
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, like nightmare fuel, fucking zombies like dragging their bodies out of other bodies. Like,
because I would say maybe 20 minutes into it, there's just the whole movie is going crazy. Like the atmosphere there's always something uncanny, crazy going on, and you are just strapped in along for the ride.
But that's why I love the 80s. I love when they just like did that kind of shit. And like everything's bathed in like fucking like green, pink, neon, like purple.
Oh yeah, like the nightmare scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, there's even a part where it's like mid-scene, it transitions like from the normal, like simple, realistic lighting, and then she like turns around and the whole scene goes pink and like, pink and blue instead for like transitioning to the nightmare world or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Like they didn't have to go this hard, but they did. And just like I said, just like Slumber Party Massacre 2, this is way better than the first one.
Yes.
Leagues better than the
would say
first one.
The first Slumber Party Massacre, I do think, is a much better movie than the first Prom Night.
Yes.
But this, if you're talking in terms of... like,
well, and I'm more talking about, like, I think this is a better way, like, so much better than Prom Night.
This is probably one of... If we're talking, like, improvement-wise, this is probably one of the best sequels ever made.
Yeah.
I'm not even being...
because it improves on everything without, like... Because, I mean, the only connection to the first one is that it takes place on Prom Night.
Yeah.
That's it.
If anything, it's more of a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Because I guess they're both Canadian. They were both made by the same studio, same producer, but this is so much better.
Because you could have called this anything. You could have even called it Hello, Mary Lou, and it would have been fine. It's just like a supernatural slasher film.
But I guess because it has a prom in it, they're just all right.
I think that's better, though, that they threw the Prom Night, too, because it's like, maybe to its detriment, but I like that. I like the expectation of walking into it thinking you're just going to get like a straightforward slasher like sequel to Prom Night and getting this.
And yeah,
that is wild.
You sit down and...
Can you imagine if you're like a fan, like if you happen to be a fan of like the first Prom Night, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, okay, here we go, Prom Night 2.
Got a sequel.
All right, I got a sequel. Sweet. Well, let's see. And like, because like, back then, maybe you didn't see the trailers or whatever. And you're like, you sit down to watch Prom Night 2. You're like, okay, I wonder if it's going to be someone related to the killer. Maybe something like, maybe they'll connect it that way. And it's this. Completely fucking different. No similarities except for the high school and the fact that it takes place on Prom Night. Mm-hmm. That is the only similarities.
That's it. And I guess that's all they needed.
And I would be so fucking happy. I'd be like, wow, okay. This one's way better. This one's fucking awesome.
I guess that's all they needed. They just needed, it has a prom in it.
I don't know.
Yeah, that works.
There's so much to like in this movie. The scene where she busts out of Vicky's body is so fucking cool and like looks so goddamn good. It literally reminded, like, if we're gonna talk Nightmare on Elm Street, it reminded me of the second one where like the fucking like Freddy comes out of his fucking body.
Yeah. Well, that and like, it's just her, everything in the room is exploding, all the lights are exploding, and it's chaos, and it's just her slowly getting like reconstructed. It's so awesome.
It's so well done too. I just love it.
And it's just a good movie because it's well made, it's well acted, because you have that thing where your main character basically has to do two performances kind of in one movie.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job with that. Like I love the high school setting, the almost coming of age thing. I love how the movie's almost about like repression.
Yeah, I just
like religious repression and like how the crazy ways people lash out of it almost. And there's just a lot going on, and it's kind of unfortunate because I think a lot of people won't watch it because it's a sequel.
Yeah, and I wish they would. I wish this. It does have a cult following.
Yeah, and this is higher rated.
And
than
it
the
is
first
higher rated, so people have seen it. I just wish it got more love.
Yeah,
it's really good. Enough love to maybe even give it like a special limited edition release or something.
Which is this doesn't, because I know the first one has been released, officially in HD, and this has never officially been released in HD.
I think it deserves it.
Insane.
I would definitely buy it. Like we got it through YouTube, but like I would definitely buy a physical copy of this.
And I don't know if there's just like copyright issues that are unresolved or something, but the fact that this doesn't, I think, is also probably,
it's kind of sad. But
because the first Prom Night is definitely the more well-known movie, so I think a lot of people watch that one, and then they won't bother because the first Prom Night's just they won't bother watching this.
Yeah.
But then those that do bother watching it end up liking this more.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, you can't just watch this.
Exactly.
Obviously, I'm talking early because I have not seen any other movies in this franchise other than the remake, which I remember nothing about, which probably kind of shows you the quality of it. But I know I think there's 4 of these.
Yeah, I've only seen this, the first one, this one, and then the remake.
So out of those 3, this is by far the best one.
Maybe the third one will knock our fucking socks off. I don't know.
I'll watch them because
I will too.
I do have a strange affinity for these like weird horror franchises where there's like a bunch of sequels.
I think they don't go supernatural in the next few though.
If I had to guess, just based on the fact that no one ever talks about them, I'm assuming the later sequels are not good.
That's what I would assume too, but we'll see.
We'll get to them.
We'll see. We'll get to them. I don't know. Like, I love this movie. I loved our last movie. I think the end of 87 is bringing a lot of good things. And if you know us, you know a big sequel that came out in 1987. We
have 2 sequels coming.
Yeah, I know. 2 big, huge, like, very well known.
Willed one of them into existence.
Well, yeah.
We'll get to
but also, one of my all-time favorite movies is also happening in 1987,
and it's also a sequel.
And it's the third in this franchise. So if you know, you know.
You know.
It came out in 87, so deduce that. It's literally.
We'll end the year on it.
Probably like top 5 favorite horror movies of all time.
Yeah, we'll end the year on it
because it is so badass.
You'll know.
Oh my god, it is so fucking good. I cannot wait to fucking just talk at length about that movie.
But hey, if there's any movies that anybody wants us to talk at length about.
And I will listen to its existence too. We do not have the first Prom Night on our podcast. So
if you really care, we can watch it.
If you do want us to watch that one and you want to hear our thoughts on it, we can watch it. It is not on our podcast.
But if there's other movies like you really want to know about,
yeah,
please give it, because we both love movies like this. This is our.
I love finding these kind of movies too, where it's like just very weird, like subverting expectations kind of things, like in the best way possible.
Yeah, because I will give movies a lot of props for doing something different.
Yeah, and I love that shit. So that's why we've done the recommendations, because we want to see that shit. We want to see what you guys like, and I you can torture us too. Obviously, like you can obviously like send us shit that you want us to just to review. It doesn't have to be like good movies.
It doesn't. But the thing about movies like this is where they kind of fly under the radar. You know, these aren't movies that are going to be massively acclaimed, but they succeed in what I want from a movie. I want entertainment. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I want. And that's all we've ever wanted. That's why we do entertainment value only.
I mean, we both love movies. We love to talk about movies, about what we love about them. Like, this is our big passion project, if you will. Mm-hmm. So if there's anything you really want us to talk about, good or bad, you know, give it to us.
Yeah.
Because I know we got some. We got a few coming up, request-wise, that we do love a lot.
Yep.
So we look forward to that.
No, I'm so stoked to see what people recommend and to see the end of 87 and get through the rest of the 80s. I'm so excited. It's going to be a great ride. Mm-hmm. One of my all-time favorite horror movies is coming up. I'm going to be really biased. It's probably, spoiler alert, probably going to be my best of the best.
Well, yeah.
Because, I mean, how could I not be biased?
Yeah.
So, anyway, there's my prediction. Thank you guys so much for listening, really. Like, it's been a really fun time. We do this just for the love of the game. We don't do it for anything else other than that. So yeah, we appreciate everyone who does listen. We're like the small micro podcast, and we have like a lot of fun doing this shit.
Yeah. And again, thank you for whoever it was that really wanted us to talk about this.
Yeah, I couldn't find the comment. I was trying to find the comment, but I can't remember who it was. If you DM us if it's you. So because I was gonna shout you out, but I can't remember who it was. So I'm sorry. It was a while ago. So
and I'm guessing it was a DM we got because I could not find it on YouTube.
If we find it again, if I do happen to find it, I will shout you out in the next episode. How about that?
Yeah.
There we go.
Deal.
In our housekeeping, I will shout you out if I find you. I don't know if I will. No promises.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's all I have. I mean, go watch Prom Night 2. It's fucking awesome. It's great. Go watch Slumber Party Massacre 2. Yeah, honestly.
Have a great time.
Fucking let's buzz. Fuck yeah, dude. Like, I'm having a ride at the end of 87, bro.
We got some good ones coming.
It's fucking awesome. All right. For They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
We will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I drink. I get drunk. What's the problem?
See you later, alligator.